Alright, so I had to re-record this bit because I unfortunately forgot to reselect, if we go in here, oops, can't remember where it is, checklist, to switch this to AS or GSX pushback. I don't know why, but usually it kind of remembers your last input, and I had set that before to obviously GSX push. But anyway, it was doing absolutely crazy things, so I thought it would be easy just to re-record this section. So we'll do it again. And we want a nose right, tail left for runway 07, so we'll put that in, and we can get ready to go. So unfortunately, like I said before, GSX, the volume isn't working, because usually you get a little guy talking to you during the sequence, but it's not to be. So yeah, you can normally hear him say these bits.
Touchdown 40 right, vacate next right, into the apron of Victor, parking stand 8.
Step in the gear. As you can see, the Ryanairs are there waiting. As I mentioned before, they are one of the carriers. I think they're the only ones in today, but obviously there would probably in real life there would be a bit more variation. That's just the nature of using the third-party traffic software. Alright, so there we go. It's all the pushback trucks linked to the aircraft, so we can release the parking brakes
released
and get going. So we can start engine number 2. So what you need to do is you flick the switch to the start option, flick forward to engine number 2. Not quite sure what that aircraft's doing. It looks a little bit stuck in on the taxiway. It shouldn't really be there. There we go. Oh, we've got Air France as well. There you go, there's a bit of variation. I don't remember reading Air France flying to Bari, but there we go. They are now.
Touchdown 40 right, vacate next right, into the apron of Victor, parking stand 8.
So I mean, as you can see, the textures aren't terrible. You do get realistic ground markings.
Stabilized.
Hang on, let me just
starting
engine 1 on. You get like these fuel stains, and the engine, the ground markings look good. The buildings are brilliant, but as you can see in a minute, once we kind of swing round, some of the textures just aren't quite as good. If we actually go to the other window, the textures here, they almost look like aerial photography that's been taken from a quite high altitude, like something like from Google Maps. It just doesn't look. The detail just isn't as good. And it's reflected on the runway as well. It's the same problems with the textures, unfortunately. To be honest, one of the nicest things of having add-on aircraft is the custom runway textures, which are obviously different to the monotonous ones that you get with the default FSX. So it's a bit disappointing that the runway textures are of quite low quality. I mean, you'll see it a bit better when we taxi out onto it. It's not too bad when you're landing, because the speed that you're going and you're a little bit higher up, so you don't notice it as much. But when you're taxiing onto it, it's not as good.
Proceed to Sierra.
Just waiting for GSX to finish off its business, and then we'll carry on with the after start checklist.
After start checklist.
Correct, you're just crossing the control zone boundary now, no height restriction.
Set.
For the height restriction, also might report past 2,500.
APU master.
Set off.
Ground spoilers.
Set.
Rudder trim.
Checked 0.
Love Schmatz's rudder.
Set.
Side controls.
Right, so I actually have to do something now. So it's stick full left.
Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full up. Full down.
And you could see all the
Rudder.
inputs being reflected with the actual displacement of the control surfaces. So rudder full left.
Full left.
639, taxi uniform, holding point Alpha 2.
Full right. Neutral.
Check. Flaps.
Flaps 2.
Anti-ice.
Off.
ECAM status.
Checked.
ECAM door page.
Checked.
Hand signal.
I don't think we need anti-ice at 26 degrees. Lovely. Wish I was there. Right, let's get going. I'll just get taxi clearance.
Ground control, Speedbird 25981. Request taxi.
British Airways 25981. Taxi via Tango Foxtrot. To holding position runway 07. Tower on 180. Decimal 3.
Via Tango Foxtrot. Holding position 07. Tower on 118 decimal 3. Speedbird 25981.
So just initiate about 10 knots and then they start the taxi checklist.
Taxiing checklist.
There we go, just go down a little bit, otherwise we can't see
No
the ground
side.
speed.
Set on.
Brake check.
Pedal pressed. Checked 0.
448, vacate right,
Auto
and
brakes.
escape from the Victor, parking stand 5.
Max.
Takeoff data.
Reviewed.
FCU.
Checked.
Flight instruments.
Checked.
Check. TO config.
Set.
Checklist complete.
It's kind of annoying where the ground speed indicator is because otherwise I can't really see where I'm taxiing. I'll just have to kind of switch between them. It was a very brief presentation. Well, I'll just bring it down a little bit now just because obviously we're on a straight. So I can see
Vacate right at Foxtrot.
how fast we're going. We just want to keep it under 20 knots really.
Tombstone 40 right, vacate next right, and escape from
Just
the
about
Victor,
see it from this
parking
position.
stand 8.
So it looks quite barren, this landscape. But it's nice and hot. And there's a beach, so that's all that really matters when you're going on holidays, isn't it? Right, so I think... Well, I think Pro-ATC were telling us to go to this first hold short, but we'll go to the end. Just may as well use the full length of the runway. That wasn't me sneezing, that was the co-pilot. Probably could get away with going there, but I think we'll use the full length. I don't think it's the longest runway in the world, so may as well.
Tower, good morning, Italia 21, they're fully established, 27 left.
Ah, we're getting a bit of Italian ATC now. That probably was the hold short, but I don't think Pro-ATC will pick it up, so we'll carry on going until we get to the next step. Might have just been a warning. There is an hold short here, so we'll stop here and take off clearance.
Okay, United 91, can you pull up a bit closer behind the West Indian TriStar? I want to get traffic around the corner behind.
9921.
Alright, so let's get takeoff clearance.
Tower, Speedbird 25981 on holding position, runway 07.
BAW2591, continue taxi.
Roger, Speedbird 25981.
Just wondering whether it wanted us to go to the other hole short. But let's go a little bit closer and see what happens.
Delta 05 Mike, after landing F27 line up runway 27.
For landing F27 line up 05 Mike.
Backpack 761, there's one ahead to land and one to depart before you.
Set 61.
Security 22, hold position.
Let's try here and see what happens.
Vacate right, taxi to Victor. Tap 25 Sierra, contact Manchester 124.2.
Manchester 124.250.
Tower, Speedbird 25981 on holding position, runway 07.
BAW2591,
It really doesn't want us to
continue taxi.
take off here.
Speedbird 25981.
Does seem a bit of a waste of runway not to utilise this bit, but if they're going to be funny about it. We'll do the forward takeoff checklist.
Fly runway heading, climb altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1.
Before takeoff checklist.
Yeah, fly runway heading, climb altitude 4,000 feet, 1002, easy 639.
Right fence.
639 correct,
Off.
contact Manchester control 128.05 by.
Check normal.
2005 for line
Keep us.
section.
TARA, tilt above.
Exterior lights.
Set on.
Sliding tables.
Stowed.
Stowed. Checklist complete.
Tower, Speedbird 25981 on holding position, runway 07.
Oh my goodness.
BAW2591, continue taxi.
Roger, Speedbird 25981.
Couldn't really get any closer with that actually. Oh well.
Jersey 4831, taxi Whiskey holding point Alpha 1.
Try here.
Tower, Speedbird 25981 on holding position, runway 07.
There we go.
BAW2591, line up on runway 07.
Lining up runway 07, Speedbird 25981.
BAW2591, wind 080 at 10. Fly runway heading at when airborne contact departure on 131.75. Runway 07, cleared for takeoff.
Runway heading, departure frequency 131.75. Runway 07, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird 25981.
Alright, let's get going.
500 when they're through, pull out on the right and line up 27 right.
Takeoff. Man, Toga, SRS and runway.
07.
Power set.
On taxiway. On taxiway.
knots.
Checked.
Beat 1, rotate. Positive
There we go.
time.
Gear up.
But could you see what I mean? You can probably see there what I meant about the runway
Check.
textures.
Departure control, Speedbird 259.
It's about 1,000 and then we'll put on the autopilot.
5,000.
British Airways 25901, cleared via VIE5 Golf,
Gears
climb
up,
to flight
lights
level
on.
Autopilot on.
Via VIE5 Golf, climbing to flight level 120, Speedbird 25981.
Speed check, flaps 1.
Just bring the lever back to climb.
Climb thrust.
And 12,000, pushing the button, and there we go.
Delta Alpha, X-ray, correction. Delta Alpha, Sierra, climb altitude 4,000 feet.
4,000 feet, there's our
Flap 0.
Speed check, flaps 0.
On the after takeoff checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Check normal.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
Flaps.
Check retracted.
Landing gear.
Gear up. Lights off.
Exterior lights.
Set off.
Tax.
Both on.
Anti-ice.
Off.
TCAS.
checked.
Altimeter?
1014.
1014.
Alright, so we're just going on this rather weird departure, kind of teardrop to go back to Bari and then head on out. I suspect it might have just been a problem with the AFCAD, that it didn't know where the runway started and the first kind of initial bit didn't really count. Or it might have just been that the taxiway that I opted to go down is actually just a kind of taxiway that you take when you're off the runway, and actually you shouldn't taxi on that at the point. You actually, the first one that I pointed out was probably the actual hole short for the runway. But you live and you learn, so I'll obviously use that one in the future. But we're going to make a left turn and we can have a little look at the coastline scenery. I seem to remember the scenery with the airport is just for the airport and not the surrounding area. But we've got ORBX Europe, so we'll have a little look at that in a sec.
The plan calls for perhaps a couple of racetrack orbits just over the western edge of the Isle of Dogs.
Alright, so we've been cleared up to flight level 280, so I think at this point we can skip ahead and I'll catch you again in the cruise. Alright, so we're just coming up to the cruise. Cruise level is 360 today. But I thought I'd take this opportunity just to tell you a little bit about the aircraft and also about BAVirtual. So first of all, the Aerosoft Airbus. Well, I think it's probably one of the most detailed aircraft that I've flown for simulators, probably on par with the Majestic Dash. I mean, the system simulation is incredible. I mean, pretty much everything you can do in the real aircraft you can do with these FMCs, well, except for the really complex stuff. But as you can see, the textures, the modelling is pretty unbelievable. Some of the best that's out there. I mean, you got also like the weather radar and the terrain radar. Just remember how you put a switch over to terrain. Oh, it's this one. So there you go. You get the terrain radar. And also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it did do it when we were taking off. You heard the RAAS system, the RAS system, go off when it was announcing that we were near runway 07. So it includes RAS as well for free. I mean, it only includes the RAS for the Aerosoft Airbus series. But it's a pretty good deal. I mean, you get 4 aircraft, the A318 all the way up to the A321. I seem to remember it's around about £40. And, well, if you look outside, you can see the detail is unbelievable. Really is good. You get a whole host of liveries. Pretty much every single airline that flies this aircraft, you can get a livery for it. Really good manuals, really good load manager and associated software. And you can do shared cockpit as well. They've developed their own kind of package for sharing cockpits, which I've yet to test, but I'm quite keen to test. So yeah, no, it's a pretty good add-on. Certainly one of the best that I've flown. I'll do a detailed review for it because I think it's worth it. But otherwise, BAVirtual, they're a really long-standing VA. I think they're probably the leading British Airways virtual airline. They're quite laid back. You do need to do an entrance exam, but it's not too difficult. If you've been a simmer for quite a while, then I'm sure you'll do absolutely fine in it. It's all kind of common sense stuff. The link to their website is in the description. I really recommend that you join. It's a really good community. They even have like a ranking system where you have to kind of get experience before you can fly some of the higher level aircraft. So it's a really good opportunity to have a kind of career mode within FSX. And I'm really enjoying flying for them. I haven't had an opportunity to fly too much for them recently because of I've been quite busy, but I'm glad I'm going to get back into it. So I'll certainly be uploading some more videos for this. And actually, just whilst I'm talking, you can hear the engine kind of going up and down. It's not too bad when you're in the cruise, but if you kind of level off at a lower altitude, it does it repetitively and it won't fix itself. So it's actually a bug that they introduced in the latest patch, but Aerosoft are working to get that fixed. Yeah, BAVirtual, really good virtual airline. Highly recommend you join them, and if you want to check them out, have a look in the link. But otherwise, I'll just do a short sequence so you can see me in the cruise, and then I'll join you in the descent. I'll see you in a bit.